The first thing I want to say is that thinking is harmful. You either know something or you don't know something. Secondly, yes, I possess certain information about our president. I have already mentioned in one of the videos that this person has an insane amount of energy, and the position he has taken was simply one he could not avoid occupying. In other words, this person is in his rightful place. On the other hand, there is always personality, there is always free will, and I am not ready to support all of his actions, so to speak. I do not agree with all the processes that I see, but the fact that he has insane potential is undeniable. And his energy, well, at least in the past, when it was easier to reach him, when I was still practicing, he was hot, insane, and passionate in these processes. At that moment, when I observed his energy, there were aspects present that not everyone possesses. That is, these aspects are already, I might be very misunderstood right now, but I will still answer this question. These are aspects of non-human energy. In other words, a person cannot possess such energy. Practitioners may have it, but a person does not, because this energy lies beyond the capabilities of the human habitat. This energy is very valuable, and there is a total hunt among those who understand these processes. Practitioners hunt for it, using special techniques, special exercises, and special training to absorb at least a drop of this energy into themselves. I am also engaged in this, and several practitioners have already reached a state of energy where they can also allow themselves to hunt for this energy.
Wait, how does this happen? Can you connect and take this energy or borrow it?
No, this is too serious a process to treat casually at all. No. One can attract attention to oneself, and a person who manages to attract the attention of this force has a different spectrum, with various possibilities for attracting attention. But those people who manage to do this at that moment, a drop of that energy falls on the person. That is, when the force turns its radars on someone who has attracted its attention, a brief and very fleeting energy exchange occurs. This small energy exchange completely burns out a person's energy. And the more energy there is, the longer the force will be able to look at you. Then you just burn out. It's like watching a nuclear explosion. That's how many seconds you can look at it before your flesh simply burns away. The same amount of milliseconds, you will be able to look at each other. And that attention that will drop to you for this millisecond, it will become yours. In other words, this energy will remain with you. Accordingly, you will pay for this with all your holiness, because that holiness simply gets blown away from you, and you have to grow it all back again. The people who engage in this practice are, in a good sense, mad because, first of all, they consciously choose to do so, and they understand how high the stakes are in all of this. It's not just this, it's not just that, it's this. This force is conscious, and it is active, and it can choose a person for itself and enter into them, for reasons that are completely unclear. It does not conform to vision, logic, or common sense at all. It's just how she does it, and that's it. And all we can state, well, people who see energy, and those who are learning to see and feel it, can also, in principle, catch these processes. All we can state is that such things happen, and there is no way to explain this at all. Yes, that happens. And at that moment, when I was observing the energy of the president, it was a long time ago. Perhaps his first term was when everything was still quite unserious, everything was in disarray, and no one paid much attention to it. Someone got into his field. It's not a big deal. He didn't do anything. It doesn't matter. Right now, it's impossible to approach him at all. Everything is so good and well organized there right now that I don't even want to try to do anything. Let a person live and thrive. But at the moment when it was possible to do this, there was a lot of strength in him. And it is clear. I can logically understand that this was clearly not the result of practice. It just happened that way in his life. And because of this very strength, he is simply invulnerable. He is truly invincible. Nothing can be done with him because this energy is on his side. And why does it do this? For what purpose does it act? When it will leave him, no one knows. Only the force itself knows. Among practitioners, there are also such practices. They have an insane potential, it's just cosmic. All these practices, what one person has been practicing for decades, he does in 3 to 4 seconds. And it's like, what is wrong with all of you? And everyone who was near him at that moment also did everything within 3 to 4 seconds until they were under his field. This means that such people exist on our planet. But there are nuances. It can leave a person at any moment, just take off and go away. In other words, it does not belong to the personality, it does not belong to the person themselves. And whether she will leave or not, at what moment this will happen, no one knows at all, not even the person who carries this energy. The energy that we strive to obtain through hunting for it, that is by attracting attention, remains with us. Yes, it's 3 kopecks, but it's my 3 kopecks. But the energy that simply chooses a body, just a body, and enters it, you can't say anything about that except that, yes, it happened. And when it leaves, you can also say, well, that's it happened. And people mostly end there. Their lives are cut short. Who has the strength to continue? These are very rare occurrences. I haven't seen anything like that. I've only heard stories from other seers about what they witnessed, so these were tales of power, so to speak. But I have no reason not to trust these people because I studied with them, I learned from them, and I simply remembered these stories, these accounts, and now I can retell them, even though I myself have not seen how a person's strength leaves them. I just know that it can happen completely unpredictably, and you would never guess the reasons behind it. But this energy exists, and we are not born with it.
Listen, it's interesting to think about whether there will ever be something like an energy market or a black market for energy, where you can obtain the energy you need. You have, for example, this power that you attracted to yourself, which is yours. Not the one that chose you, but the one that is yours. And I want such power, I can buy it from you, so to speak. Isn't that cool? Will we live to see that, I wonder?
Potentially, it already exists. It's just that those who possess these abilities do not shout about it or broadcast it from every corner, because there are very few people who have reached a sufficient energetic strength to hunt for these forces. Among them, those who were able to do it successfully are even fewer, because there are no guarantees that she will pay attention to you. You need to meet the conditions, and after that, it's just a matter of luck. That is, yes, you increase your chances. Perform the practice flawlessly, increase your chances, but never to 100%. And sometimes, even if we take me, my practice, my experience, and the sessions I conducted in this direction, if we honestly strip away this aura of mastery, I have indeed learned I am a master. If I completely detach from this and speak about it as impeccably as possible, I can say that I knew about the successful execution of the practice before I started it. That is, I am ready to acknowledge that somehow the very force says, well, go ahead and do it, I will come. And I went to do it, and it came. I have heard this, I have practiced it. When I hadn't heard about it, I didn't even try to do it. Although I know how to do it, I didn't even attempt to do it. And most likely that is indeed the case. That is, for some unclear reasons, she is willing to participate in all of this. No, you are not ready. Even if you do everything correctly, there will be no result. In other words, the skill and mastery of this practice do not guarantee success. Success is determined before you even start this practice. If we're being completely honest, that's the case. But if we want to add a bit of pathos and magic, then yes, one must possess a great deal of skill. You just need to know what to do. Although I can again state with full responsibility that people who, due to certain circumstances, find themselves on the brink of life and death, balancing almost on the edge, can attract power to themselves. If they are not scared, if they do not tighten up, do not spasm, they will challenge their own death and refuse to die at all, although everything is already there. You are flying on a plane. Its engines have detached. The wings have broken off. It has disintegrated in the air. You don't have a parachute. You're strapped to the seat. And here you are falling, but still. No, I do not agree with this. Everyone dies, and one person somehow tied to a chair remains alive. How does this happen? Such cases really occur. In our lives, these events are documented. They are real occurrences. And in these states, when a person is ringing with everything they have, resisting the approach of death, resisting the event they find themselves in, although, whether they resist or not, it is clear that they have no tools to counter it, yet they still do not give up. They try to generate dissent against it. And at that moment, the energy can accelerate to such an incredible level of manifestation in a fraction of a second, because our consciousness is not tied to time. In other words, our consciousness can change instantly. Yes, physics needs time because it is very much intertwined with linear time, our physics, but our consciousness exists outside of time. It can change instantly. And if a person, just a fraction of a second before death or a few seconds before death, allows themselves to do this, allows their consciousness to be released in such a way that the energy ignites to some, as it is now commonly said, X's, to some X's of potential relative to their everyday life, then the force will take notice of this. It will look and say, what is happening there? What is glimmering there? And at that moment, this person will receive that power. Although there is no ritual, no practice, the circumstances themselves have brought him to this state. Naturally, these states can be accessed precisely through practice, meaning not by jumping out of an airplane without a parachute.
Yes, more acceptable ways.
Yes, so if nothing works out, well then nothing works out. You just go, I don't know, take a shower and continue living until the next time. It is not a matter of life and death there, but it is precisely when people shift into this state in one way or another that they also have the opportunity to connect with the force. Because power, in essence, attracts sharp impulse bursts, which and inherently also do not conform to logic. As a result, this is precisely the action of a person who, despite everything and against all odds, is capable.
Friends, my goal is to share the practices that I have learned myself and now teach to others. The main purpose of these practices is to achieve freedom. Who is the freest among us? It is the Creator by nature. What is freedom? This is when you have permissiveness. This is when you have omnipotence. This is when you have the ability to create and destroy. It is when you have the opportunity to move as you wish and to wherever you want. In order to begin studying this tradition, this system, this knowledge, one must start from the beginning. The beginning is practical energy work. It is the power of consciousness alone. You can acquire it entirely. You can transform it piece by piece. And you can receive a practice from me as a gift to try out this knowledge and feel it. And this will be enough to feel the first changes that will occur within you and around you. Please follow the link in the description to receive a gift from me